Good morning, students. Myself Kamal Nath. I welcome you all in the class of English. This is the third video of this week, and you know very well we are learning a new chapter, Feathered Friend. Chapter 6 of Gulmohar, Feathered Friend, is here by Sir Arthur Charles Clarke. And I have already sent you two videos related to the last two parts of the story, and this is the concluding part of the story, third part, in which I will conclude the story. And as you know, Sir Arthur Charles Clarke used to write science fiction, mainly science fiction story, although he was quite a multi-dimensional personality. He was a scientist, he was discoverer, he was a writer, he was even TV series host. Okay, so I have already detailed you his summary, his biography, and in this part of the video I am going to explain you the last part of the story, that is a feathered friend. Let me see what is in this story. As you know very well, here the writer, the speaker, or the narrator, whatever you can say, of this story is here in the space with his co-worker, and you know very well here him, his friend, co-worker had, whose name was Sen Olsen, who had taken a bird in the space station, that was canary bird, who is here called Cladwell. In the story he is here told as Cladwell. He had brought that one, although in the beginning he did not admit that the bird belonged to him and he had brought that one. The narrator tried to ask him, but later on he partially admitted, confessed that there was nothing wrong about that here, and there was something here, just a reason behind that, why he had brought there. There may be some more reasons we will discuss here in question answer here about that, what may be the possible reasons why he had brought. But let us see here, when the writer, speaker of this story, heard the musical sound, the melodious sound of canary bird, Cladwell, he was no doubt very surprised, and he heard that, he stared at the bird, and he appreciated how that bird canary had adjusted herself, how to accommodate in that space station without gravitational force, where there was zero gravitational force, how the bird accommodated, adjusted, and learned how to live there comfortably. That surprised him. So in the 12 hours part of the duty that was, he joined his duty, the narrator, I am talking about narrator, the speaker, and when he joined his cabin, he saw that one seat was vacant, so he asked. So from there I am going to start this part of this video, third video. I am sure the last two parts you must be remembering well, everything is in your mind, and what is in this part, in this series, just you will learn. Where is Sen? I asked. The speaker, the narrator, asked the other co-workers about Sen Olsen, where he was. He is looking for Cladwell, someone answered. When the narrator asked why the seat was vacant and where was Sen Olsen, as that seat was owned that time and was expected that Sen Olsen would sit there, he couldn't see, so he asked this question, where was Sen? He got the answer from someone that he was looking for, means he was searching Cladwell, the bird, canary. Says he cannot find anywhere, he cannot find her anywhere. She usually wakes him up. The person who answered, the speaker, the narrator of this story, told him, explaining that he was not able to find the bird, And as he told that the bird only used to awake him. Most of the days the bird's sound, the bird's melody used to awake him. And he was not able to find him. He was searching the canary bird everywhere. Before I could retort that she usually woke me up to, before the narrator could tell that the bird would awoke him too, not only St. Olsen, but the narrator also used to wake up due to the just melodious song of the bird of canary. St. came in through the doorway. The same moment, St. Olsen entered through the doorway. We could see at once that something was wrong. They saw his face, hair, appearance, and he looked sad. He slowly opened his hand, and there lay a tiny bundle of yellow feathers. When he opened his hand, there was tiny bundle of yellow feathers. You know very well, canary is a yellow bird, and its feather is quite yellow, deep and dark yellow. So they saw, all of them saw that there was a bundle of yellow feathers with two clenched claws sticking pathetically up into the air. Upward, its air claws were. It looked like it was dead only. What happened? We asked, all equally distressed. All the people, those who were there at that moment, they all saw St. Olsen's face when he opened his hand and saw the bird. They all, at the same time asked, what happened? I don't know, said St. mournfully. St. looked very sad, and there was no doubt pain in his just voice. He replied that he didn't know what had happened. I just found her like this. He told that he had found the bird in that condition. Let us have a look at her, said Jock Duncan, our cook, doctor and dietitian. Jock Duncan, who was in the space station and who was cook, doctor and dietitian of the all astronauts there, he just came forward and told, let us have a look at her, what has happened. We all waited in hushed silence while he held Clarivale against his ear. Taking the bird, he just brought to his ear to listen its heartbeat of the bird. So he held Clarivale against his ear in an attempt to detect any heartbeat. If there was heartbeat, he could really hear, but presently he shook his head. After he had really observed, he was also very disappointed and told, no, there was no heartbeat. I cannot hear anything, but that doesn't prove she is dead, he claimed. He told that I cannot hear any heartbeat, but it doesn't mean that she is dead, Clarivale is dead. I have never listened to a canary's heart, he added rather apologetically. He told later on that he had never heard the heartbeat of any canary bird, so he was not sure, he was not determined that there was no heartbeat at that moment of that canary bird. So he felt a little bit here, apologized and told in that tone only here. Give her a sort of oxygen, suggested somebody. In that group only someone suggested, give her a sort of oxygen. You know, in such condition only, we also generally here sense that oxygen, in the lack of oxygen, this kind of incident take place. So someone suggested to supply oxygen to the bird, pointing to the emergency cylinder beside the door. There was emergency cylinder of oxygen beside the door. Everyone agreed that this was an excellent idea. Clarivale was tucked into a face mask. Again, very quickly the face mask was really tucked to the face of the bird, and that was large enough to serve as a complete oxygen tent for the bird. To our delighted surprise, she revived at once, and it was surprising for all of them. Really, they were very happy to find that the bird revived. There was movement here in the body of the bird. Beaming broadly, Sen removed the mask. And when he really found, he was really very optimistic now, very hopeful. He was happy to find his bird really revived. He removed the mask from its just really beak, from his mouth, and he hopped into his finger. See, hopped. The bird started hopping, jumping here in the finger, just a hand on the finger of the scientist of St. Olsen. She gave a series of sharp trills, and the same moment the bird even gave here some sound here, then promptly keeled over again, and the bird, after giving some sound, sharp sound, it was loud sound, but really short and high pitched sound. It really made that sound, and the bird now kneeled over again. Again it fainted, like maybe it due to the tiredness or weakness or sickness. The bird again here fainted. I don't get it, lamented Sen. Just really expressed his sadness that perhaps the bird was not going to revive. What is wrong with her? She has never done this before. He expressed his concern for the bird, that he had never seen that bird ever doing like that. For the last few minutes, something had been tugging at my memory. My mind seemed to be very sluggish. At that moment, the narrator felt that his mind was not so responsive, so active at that moment. Like he was lacking energetic. He was not reacting promptly. Like that he felt himself. That morning, especially that morning, he felt so. I could do with some of that oxygen, but before I could reach the mask, understanding exploded in my brain. And before he could really reach to the mask only to supply oxygen again, some idea exploded in his mind, came all of a sudden in his mind, in his brain. I whirled on the duty engineer and said urgently. There was an engineer on the duty to whom he said, whose name was Jim. Jim, there is something wrong with the air. He told that he felt something wrong with the air. Means there was something wrong, smelling, unusually smelling in the air. That's why Clarivell passed out. And so he gave the reason that was the reason. The Clarivell passed out, perhaps it has dead, perhaps it has dead due to that. I have remembered that miners used to carry canaries down to warn them of gas. And then he remembered that the workers, the people or the engineers, those who worked under the mines, they also used to carry this bird, canaries, in the mines, so that the bird would warn them against the leakage of gas or any poisonous gas. For that reason, miners used this bird, canaries. He remembered. Something came into his mind. Nonsense, said Jim. The alarms would have gone off. We have got two circuits operating independently. He told. Jim said him, okay, nonsense. We have two circuits. And that is what here, two circuits are operating here. That is alarms independently. If there would have been something wrong only with the gas, leakage of gas, poisonous gas or toxic gas, these two circuits of alarm would have here alerted us, warned us. We have two alarms. Engineer, the second alarm circuit isn't connected up yet. His assistant reminded him. Who was assistant standing there? He reminded in the engineer that the second alarm circuit wasn't connected. It was not working. That means that shook him. When Jim heard that, he was badly shaken. He left without a word. Without telling any word, he left the place. He left the place without telling, while we stood arguing and passing the oxygen bottle around. We started passing the oxygen bottle to each other there. He came back 10 minutes later. And then 10 minutes later he came back with a sleepy expression, like that on his face there was some very sad air expression, some regretful expression. It was one of those accidents that could not possibly happen. The incident that had taken there should not have happened. We had had one of our rare eclipses by the earth's shadow that night, and part of the air purifier had frozen up. Jim told them, all of them, informed them that last night, that 12-hour night, what they used the term night only for resting, although there was no day or night like that, but they had made that here term night and day so that they could have shifts only and they could have here sleep for that. So he told that there was a just eclipse due to the earth's shadow. Due to the earth's shadow, the air purifier had frozen up, and the single alarm in the circuit had failed to go off to work. The single circuit that was working also failed to inform them, to alarm them what had happened. $500,000 worth of chemical and electronic engineering had let us down completely. So much loss was there. $500,000 worth chemical and electronic engineer was wasted. Without Clarivate, we should soon have been slightly dead. If Clarivate would not have been right this moment, then we should have really slightly dead. So now, if you visit any space station, don't be surprised if you hear an inexplicable snatch of a bird song. If you go to any space station and if you hear the sound of Clarivate bird, okay, that cannot be explained, inexplicable here sort of air song or bird song, you should not get surprised. You should not wonder. There is no need to be alarmed. On the contrary, in fact, it will mean that you are being doubly safeguarded. If there is canary bird, that means you are doubly saved there, and that is safeguard for the people working in the space station at practically no extra expense, and there is no expense at all. Keeping canary bird in the space station, there is no expense at all, and you are safe because that bird gave a great signal alarming to them. They realized due to the leakage of the gas, poisonous or toxic gas, the bird had fainted, and that was the signal for them that saved their life. This was what? Wonderful story indeed. The feathered friend. Who is feathered here? The bird canary, who proved all the astronauts as a friend. I am sure that all of you must have understood the story. So this part also again will be here detailed in your online class. So thank you, student. Thank you being with me.